Teresa Ulmer.
And I'm Vicky Wall, and today we're reading the Gospel from John. When Judas had left them, Jesus said, "Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and God will glorify him at once. My children, I will be with you only a little longer. I give you a new commandment. Love one another. As I have loved you, so you also should love one another. This is how all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." So I think that what's quite beautiful about the way this gospel follows on from last week's about Jesus is saying his sheep hear his voice, so us, we hear his voice, and he sort of puts us, really as possessive, like we belong to him, his sheep, and then he gives us something that we have to do, like a mission, but a way to belong to him as well, and a way to respond to his love, and it's so clear and so simple.
Yeah, and all through John's Gospel and John's letters, that's the theme. This is sort of the beginning, the thing that John picks up on and stresses so much by this repetition. And as I have loved you, so you should love one another. And also the way that we will be recognized as disciples of Christ if we love one another. And that's the sign almost of our love of Jesus, is our love of one another. I also was noticing that this narrative comes right after the Last Supper, when Judas leaves to betray Jesus, and all of a sudden he's talking about being glorified. And the way that he's going to be glorified, he says, now is he glorified, because he's being betrayed, because he's going to be arrested, because he's going to suffer. And then he tells us to love one another as he loves us. How does he love us? He dies for us, and that's because of that juxtaposition. This is a bigger challenge than we recognize even. Mm-hmm. It's not just be there and work miracles. It's suffer and die for one another as well.
And think about how confusing, these words would have been for the disciples of Jesus the days following him saying this. And it's quite timely for us too, just after Easter, to be thinking about that and the mystery of the cross, as you say, the suffering that leads to this glory of God and being glorified, Jesus being glorified in that way, and what that means for the way that we love one another. The suffering can lead to love as well, and sometimes suffering is love.
And usually not crucifixion, but little sacrifices and little sufferings often.
Yeah.